Hey everybody, my name is Akinola. We are back with Under the Hood, the Rogue podcast that takes you behind the mask and under the hood, and everybody who's working at Rogue, whether they're doing League of Legends, Rocket League, Rainbow Six, you know how it is. This is episode 4 of season 2, and today I'm joined by our head of marketing, Tien. And Tien, say hello to everybody. What's going on, man?
Hey, you took my podcast away from me.
You gave it to me. This is for everybody who doesn't know. Tien is one of my bosses. So if he tells me to do something, I have to do it. So I want everyone to know I didn't steal anything. This was given to me by him, but I think he's having some detachment issues ever since working 90 hours a week doing things behind the scenes.
No, I think it's fine. I think your voice sounds much nicer than mine.
No, we gotta.
So
we're one of the few orgs that has nice voices in many people among our different esports. So just to kick things off, Tien, I know you've been working like a dog the past forever, it seems like. But before we delve into that, I wanted to have the audience learn a bit more about what you do for Rogue, because head of marketing seems like kind of a misnomer with all of the stuff that I have done with you and the things that you do behind the scenes. So why don't you give us a little bit of a TLDR?
So, I mean, it's a bit difficult to describe head of marketing, right? Especially in esports, which is a fairly new space. Because of that, I think head of marketing spans across a lot of different jobs. So, obviously social media is a big part of it, just because also the industry is really reliant on social media, I would say, more than maybe other kinds of like areas or industries. So that's one big part of my job, to make sure that social media is running. Thankfully, I got the help of Akinola now, and also we have Chloe, who's helping me out. And besides that, it's also a lot of like branding stuff, I would say, like brand marketing. So making sure that Rogue as a brand is looking good everywhere. So when I came in, Rogue really didn't have like guidelines for the brand or anything like that. So I was focusing on that. So I mean, I'm here now for 1.5 years already, I think. Wait, it's almost 2. No, it's July. Yeah, 1.5 years. So I feel like the last 1.5 years I was just laying like the groundwork for everything. And I mean, the fun stuff is gonna come sooner and later. And especially if our teams, I mean, right now our teams in all games are doing fairly good. They have a lot of potential, which is exciting. So I'm just excited that we lay down the groundwork to take off with them whenever they get like relevant competitively. Not saying they were not relevant before, but like getting to like the big leagues, to the top of them. And but besides that, I mean, it's a lot of stuff like merch. I'm helping out with merch, design stuff as well. Obviously, I'm trying to build up the department, because when I started, it was just me. So I was doing everything by myself. So I got a bit of help nowadays. So I'm just trying to build a team around me that is just better in everything than me.
Yeah.
So I mean, it makes no sense to build a team if they're not better than you, right?
Exactly.
Because then I can just do it myself, So that's why I handed the podcast to you over, because I realized
it was too much.
After 1 second in the interview, I don't think I should continue doing this.
No, man. Look, I took a listen to all the old interviews. I thought they were fine, and I mean, you're right. Somebody has to step up and take the reins of all those different aspects of the org to make sure that it's heading in a positive direction. So as you continue to get new people and expand out the team, how would you say things have changed versus when you first started for Rogue, assuming responsibility, and today? I mean, you said you've been here. It's been 1.5 years, but it feels like time has gone by so fast for you.
I mean, I'm not sure if Anna talked about it, like, but when we started off here, I mean, we didn't even have an office, so it was like a 4-man crew, like Anna, the team manager back then, Hendrik and Thomas and me. And and seeing it grow now, like nowadays we have like more than like 10 people sometimes here, excluding the players. Or maybe 10 is too much, but yeah, I mean we have an office now. I mean that's something, you know, like obviously things are going to turn bad, right? Like the grass is always greener on the other side, so you look at other orgs and be like, oh, they're doing it much better and stuff like that. But then I just need to remind myself like where we were 1.5 years ago, or even like 1 year ago. And yeah, I mean, what was the question again?
No, you're basically how things have changed, which you illustrated. You know, you started with a small team and you're slowly expanding. Do you feel like you have a better handle on things now? Not to infer that you didn't have a handle, but you know, there were a lot of things that were out of place when you started. How would you compare things now to back then?
I mean, it's not much different because right from the bat, Rogue gave me a lot of leeway with my ideas. So obviously I have to get approval and stuff like that, but they were always open-minded and said like, okay, if you think that's all right, let's try it or let's do it. So that's not a given. If you worked in a normal industry before, sometimes you just get roadblocks, right? Even if you have great ideas. So I feel like I accomplished everything so far that I feel like I could accomplish. But I mean, my job is just changing, right? Like you said, I'm trying to get more people in, so I can't be hands-on with everything as much as I maybe want to be. But I think that's just something that you need to learn in this kind of position, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're always hands-on, you're not gonna make the people around you better as well, I feel like. So yeah, I'm just trying to challenge all my employees. I think Akinola, you already got a breeze of it.
Yeah.
So I'm just questioning stuff. I mean, if you say something, I just want to know, like, can you like reasonably explain it? You know,
absolutely.
Because I feel like this is something you will eventually face, right?
Yeah.
If you talk with higher ups that have like no clue about the topic, they will ask these questions. You know, like you base it on analytics, but what kind of analytics? Can you explain it to me? You know, and in that moment, you just need to be so well prepared that you can just give a confident answer. Because if you don't, you just hesitate for 1 second, you will completely lose it, and people will be like, okay, he doesn't know what he's talking about, right? So yeah, that's I mean it's just I feel like I can't be as much as possible hands-on, but on the other hand, I mean for social media I feel like you need to be still hands-on because so much is going on through social media. I mean, even like in the industries before where I worked, you know, like social media was not just marketing or was just social media, but it was like product development as well, right? Because you get all the pre-insights, maybe from Reddit even, you know, like I worked for a mouse company or mice company before. So we got all the a lot of insights from Reddit, which was for free there. Before you had to pay like 10,000s or 20,000s of euros to just get those insights. So yeah, I feel like social media is a good entry into nowadays marketing and especially esports.
Yeah. You mentioned marketing being a multifaceted prong to make sure that your brand is facing the right way. And from what I've experienced in social media, you know, my history of social media, you know, I've been, you know, shit posting and posting serious stuff. You might notice in the esports space there isn't a lot of formal training to be a good social media person. Some people go to school for marketing. Others just kind of pick up things on the fly. So I wanted to delve into your history. How did you get involved with marketing? And, you know, tell us a little bit about how you got up to this point, basically.
So first of all, I was a huge fan of your TLDR videos back in the days.
Why are you doing this to me?
I mean, I watched every episode actually, and I was a bit sad when they stopped. I actually didn't read the patch notes anymore. I just watched the videos. But yeah, my story. I mean, where should I start? I mean, I think it started already pretty early. Like I always had a good grasp already what might be like something that people would like to adapt to. Like for example, I don't know, back then, I mean, we had all these kind of messengers, like ICQ, MSN Messenger, stuff like that. And like for me, I was never on ICQ because I felt like MSN Messenger is a much more sophisticated platform.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on which continent you are, but in Europe, ICQ got taken over by MSN, so everyone went to MSN. So that was like a good thing. And then I was always on the lookout. Is there something new? I don't know why even, but yeah. I mean, I got my PC pretty late. Like nowadays it's crazy, but I think I got my first PC at 15, which is really, really late nowadays. I mean, nowadays you get smartphones with the age of 8 that are 10 times more powerful.
It gets younger and younger every year. Like babies have tablets now and smartphones.
Yeah, and then with 15 and when I got my PC, I just went like right into it, like 24/7. I was on the PC trying to figure out stuff, how to code as well. I mean, my school was also really good because we had like courses that taught you HTML, CSS, photo editing, everything. It's unusual for a German school. Don't think like this is normal.
Right.
But yeah, they had a lot of students there, so they could do stuff that other schools couldn't do. But I think my first real like thinking about marketing, it's actually a funny story because I'm working now with him again, which is Koi.
Okay.
As you know. So he's our editor also at Rogue. Back then when we were young, we were shooting videos on YouTube. So I got YouTube also really, really early. Like when I saw the platform, I was like, wow, this is crazy. Like can just upload videos.
What type of videos did you guys make?
It was like martial arts videos.
What?
So we
whoa. Yeah, wait a second. All right. So just so everybody knows, I get flamed at work for stopping content, that I used to do back when I made League of Legends content, but I had no idea. This is absolutely 100% the first time I'm hearing about this. So now I have to watch these videos, and I might get to flame you back for them. So what type of martial arts were going on here? Who was I need a rundown.
Okay. I mean, I met through Taekwondo. I think he's smiling. He's sitting next to me. Oh no. Oh no, he's hardcore editing. But yeah, we met through Taekwondo. So I tried Taekwondo back then when I was young. Besides swimming and playing football, and yeah, I think that's it. But yeah, I mean, they love Jackie Chan movies. I love Jackie Chan movies. Who didn't?
Yeah, who doesn't?
And yeah, we just went out with back then we had like a VC camera, like a really shitty camera. And we just went out and shoot videos and try to edit them as close as possible to the Jackie Chan movies.
Would you?
And yeah,
Would you say they turned out the way that you wanted? Looking back as a kid.
I mean, back then the technical possibilities weren't that good, but I mean, I just talk about it with Koi. Like we thought they were pretty shitty back then already. But now, when we looked at it, they were not that bad, to be honest with you. But of course, the quality wasn't like nearly as easy as here. So I mean, I can tell you stories. Like we were thinking about, like back then, you could like buy like something that like vibrates, and then you could put like a lens on it, so it gives you like this depth of field, which everyone wanted back then. It's the cinema look. Everyone wanted this depth of field type of stuff. And back then the DSLRs couldn't take video. But yeah, when we consumed those news about DSLRs going into video like crazy, because we knew, okay, these cameras can do this kind of depth of field. And back then, I mean, I remember the discussion, everyone's like, yeah, it's not going to replace anything. But then, I mean, nowadays people are shooting like music videos on them and stuff like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, they're standard now.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, with that, we got better quality. I think those are also the only videos that are still up. But yeah, I mean, we just shot videos. We started doing also music videos for friends. Actually, one of them got into like a YouTube competition. So I mean, back to the marketing topics. We don't go too much away. But yeah, I was like the one who was more like into, okay, how we can get more views, So I started doing the Facebook page out of like nowhere. The YouTube channel was my idea before that. We didn't even have YouTube, right? So I was like, hey, there's a cool new platform. You can upload videos and directly play them. Crazy. And then we uploaded there. And yeah, I just kind of took over the whole marketing aspect of the team. So we also had a name for it. It was called New Dimension Team.
Ooh, okay.
So yeah, that was a cool thing back then. And yeah, I actually submitted a music video from us to a YouTube contest back then, and it was called Secret Talents in Germany.
Okay.
It was actually 30 seconds too long, but they still choose us as one of the best top 50 videos in Germany. And they actually...
What was the video about?
It was just a random music video, you know, like we shot for a friend who was doing music back then.
Nice.
I think that one is still up, so I can show it to you later.
You got to make me a playlist, man. There's a lot I have to watch tonight.
It's a YouTube channel. I mean, it still has 10,000 subscribers back then. It was top 100 YouTube channel back then in Germany. Mm-hmm. But we realized really quickly that this is not the type of content that will be successful in Germany. But yeah, and then we went to this YouTube event. We met the YouTube founders actually, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, and then we kind of drifted away. I went to school, played a lot of American football. I don't think you know that.
What? No, look, so I didn't. This is mind blowing. I feel like I'm walking into an alternate reality here. I thought I knew enough about Tien, but clearly I know nothing. So American football, not soccer, like hand egg. All right. So tell me a little bit about that.
I mean, another thing, I went to the States actually as well as a high school exchange student.
Okay.
So I went in the middle of nowhere in Kansas.
Oh yeah, that is the middle of nowhere. That's farmland.
And I actually wanted to try football but I was way too late. So yeah, they already had the summer camp and everything.
No.
So I thought it's not a good idea if I don't even know the rules to jump into a team. So actually I played soccer.
There you go. I know what that is.
But yeah, I went to every Friday night lights game. And I mean the rules were not that hard then, and I was like, okay, this looks like fun. But then yeah, I did wrestling there as well in the States in the winter break because my host that was the assistant coach and his brother was the head coach, so I had no choice. It was like a state championship program, you know, like they had a good chance for a state championship. So I think we started off with like 110 people at the tryout, and we ended up being just 13 because it was so hard. But I had no choice because it was my host dad, so I had to grind it through. And yeah, when I came back to Germany, a friend was starting to play football, and then I just joined him to see it. Actually, I didn't want to start because it was a bit expensive. Because here we had to get all the gear by ourselves. So it's like 800, 900 euros, right? Yeah. And in high school, you get it for free. But yeah, then I started playing. I played for 8-9 years. Played in the highest division of Germany. So yeah, that was a good experience.
So what you're trying to say is you're good at sports, you know, like whatever you picked up, you picked it up pretty well.
I did also 9 years of swimming before that. I was okay.
But
I didn't. I mean, swimming was so boring after like 7 or 8 years because, like with team sports, you can share like your struggle, you can share like your joy when you win something, you know. But with swimming, you gotta swim and then you win something. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, there are only so many swimming positions you can do, and you're really it's yourself versus everybody else. So no, I understand what you mean. Tell me, so you obviously had a really fulfilling childhood in terms of activities. You're getting your hands in as many things as possible. So when esports started getting popular in Germany, when did you realize, oh, you know, that's something I have to get involved in? That's something I should be doing.
So yeah, like you said, I already had like this really sporty background, you know. So I mean, actually, it was just League of Legends, you know. Like I knew StarCraft has some competitions, but I didn't follow it really. Then I started playing League of Legends after StarCraft 2. And then people spammed in all chat, oh, this Niederlichspiel, you're like Hotshot, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, who is this Hotshot guy? I started Googling him. And I was like, oh, what is competition? And then I don't know, one day it just popped up in the client. Oh, it's the season 1 World Championship at DreamHack. So I just watched it and I was like, okay, cool. And then I followed a bit. I went to like events like Gamescom, but not for League of Legends. But at the end, I just stayed in the League of Legends booth all day. Yeah, I remember Freak was just sitting in the audience next to us, like normal. It was really cool, actually. Like back then, they tried like these stages where you could like rotate them, so the team that plays after the team could just set up in the background, and then they rotated, but it didn't work out too well, so I guess they stopped. But yeah, I just followed like really briefly. I wouldn't say like I was a big fan. I mean, I followed the teams back then that everyone followed, right? TSM, CLG, CLG EU. So I would say I would watch more NA. But I really got into esports through my job later on, you know, like I finished my studies. I applied at Rocket back then. So a lot of coincidences actually how I got into esports. So Rocket was in my hometown.
Oh, okay.
Which was a huge surprise, and it was like 10 minutes away from my childhood home.
Oh, sweet.
So I just applied there. Actually, I didn't want to do an internship because people in the university said like, okay, if you have your degree, don't do internship. They're just gonna use your workforce for
they're gonna steal from you and
as little as much as possible of money, you know.
Exploit you.
I was like, okay, gaming, that's cool. So I sent an email to apply, and actually they replied after 5 minutes. They called me after 5 minutes, and they're like, "Hey, can you come into the interview next week?" You know, and I'm like, "Sure, I have nothing else to do. I'm just gaming right now." I actually went up to Diamond 1 in that time in League of Legends.
Diamond.
So I already actually put it in my application back then. I think that's what caught the eye. I went to the interview. Actually, the interview got postponed, and I was already worried. I was like, "Oh no, another one. That's not gonna come like to life." Like my ideas of okay, then I'm just gonna do that because after university, I think everyone just thinks, "What should I do?" But yeah, I went into interview. They hired me on the spot, and because of Rocket, which is the next big coincidence, right? It's the only hardware company I know that has an esports team.
Yes.
So we had that esports team, the EU LCS roster back then with Vander, for example, who I'm back again with. Jankos back then also. But yeah, I went to events then because of Rocket, because we also sponsored some events. So I think the moment where I really realized that this is actual sport, I would say was IEM Katowice. If you walk into this Sportic arena with 20,000 people, you just get goosebumps, you know, and then you feel like, wow, okay, that's crazy. This must be sports because you can't feel this without sports. That was like my opinion back then.
No, I feel what you said just now about the crowd and being in the middle of that. That's how I knew it clicked for me when I was at the spring LCS finals in 2016 and the summer ones, and just hearing like 15,000 people scream because of League of Legends. I know that if you look at the number of fans compared to like a traditional sports game, it doesn't seem like that much, but like that's a lot of people. Like I can't imagine gathering the attention of 15,000 people anywhere, and to have them scream over seeing players being introduced on stage. They're watching their favorite game being played, and this isn't just across League of Legends. You know, you got Dota 2, you got CS:GO, and all these other things, and it was crazy. So that at that point, that's when it kicked in, and I realized, oh man, like this isn't going away. League of Legends really set the quality bar for how esports events should be in an arena setting. And so that leads me to my next question about, you know, getting involved with Rogue, you know, making that transition from just working at a mouse company to being a part of this organization that has all these esports teams. Tell me what that was like, getting associated with this org.
I mean, actually, a lot of people from the esports side of Rocket went to Rogue, so that was a pretty easy transition, to be honest with you. But I mean, we had esports as well, right?
Mhm.
With Rocket, like we had Team Rocket. So I did the marketing for that actually. Like I did it out of fun because nobody told me to take care of Team Rocket as well.
Mhm.
Because my main job was to promote the hardware company. But I just felt like it was a waste of money if we have this team and we don't use it for marketing as well. So I got into that, and because of that, I worked closely with Thomas back then already. And yeah, we got to know each other to the point where because he used to be like, he's like this manager, you know, like he wants to make sure that stuff is getting done correctly and you promote the team as much as possible, you know. Like at the beginning, he's like, yeah, if you do this, you need to do that and that. And we got to like this working relationship where he was just saying, oh, Riot told us this, you know what to do, you know.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, it was a pretty good work relationship between us. So when it was clear that Rocket is not going to stay in the LCS,
Mhm.
like I don't know all the circumstances, but I mean, it was pretty clear that Rocket is not going to get a spot.
Yeah.
I was thinking, is that maybe the right moment to go full time in esports, especially with the partnership program / franchising in Europe, which makes it more long term, right?
Yeah.
Because you have some kind of stability and not like before that, like tournaments or even like LCS, ULCS, where when you get relegated, you're pretty much getting fired
Yeah, that's it. Like you're
because they
done.
don't have money.
That sucked. Like it was
Uh,
it was nice to make a meme out of it, but at the same time, you know, you have all these people who are losing their livelihood because of a bad season.
and it's horrible. I mean, so yeah, I mean, then I just waited, and I wasn't too happy at the end at Rocket as well, to be honest with you. So it felt like a good way to switch over. And yeah, I mean, actually, I used my Twitter. I was just saying, like, I check with Rocket if that's
Yeah.
okay. But yeah, then I just tweeted, yeah, I'm thinking about going full time in esports. If any teams are interested, just contact with me. And then I don't know, the Reddit community retweeted it like crazy.
Nice.
So I got some offers. Obviously, Thomas already knew about Rogue. I think he talked about it in his podcast that he was helping out with the application. So he was telling me about that project a bit, you know, and then he was like, hey, you should maybe wait and see what we have before you decide for a team. So yeah, obviously I trusted him. And then when all offers were on the table, this one felt also the most rewarding. Like I mentioned before, like it was really like open-minded. Obviously because there was not like a clear brand yet. Like I mean, if I go to Fnatic or something like that,
It's already
it's pretty
established.
set.
Yeah. So you had a chance to like craft your own baby and say, hey, I did this. I can put this org in the right direction and distinguish them from the rest of the teams. And I think you've done a really good job. So
I mean, exactly, and I mean, I kind of built a good brand around the Team Rocket as well. Obviously through the Reddit presence, like, yeah, I mean, I found that loophole, if you want to call it loophole, right? I was just seeing everybody is on Reddit. Why is no team on Reddit interacting with fans? Because I mean, social media is interacting, right?
Yeah.
So why not be on the platform where all the teams, all the fans are? So yeah, around that. So I was also curious for myself if I could replicate this, you know. So I mean, I started the Rogue account without like people knowing that it was me, because I felt like at the end of at Team Rocket, I could have posted everything on Reddit and it would have been upvoted because of my standing there. So yeah, it was quite interesting to see if I could replicate the same thing.
You have been working a lot with the LEC players in terms of a lot of team events, getting brand stuff done. You know, all these activations with Kia being one of the main sponsors for the LEC this split. You know, you guys filmed this crazy video with cars and this outlook on in Germany, and you know, looking from the outside in, I was like, this is crazy. I had no idea that he was involved with stuff like that. So, you know, when you were filming that piece, Did you have an idea of how it was supposed to go, or like just tell me like how is it like working with the boys on that sort of thing?
I mean, we're really fortunate, to be honest with you, with all 5 of them, because they're actually really easy to work with in regards to media. Like, they understand the importance of why we need to do it. So I don't need to lay down the pre-work and explain to them, hey, we really need to do this. They pay a lot of money to be here. They really understand it, and actually they sometimes come to us and say, why are we not doing this? Why are we not doing that? But in regards to the Kia thing, I mean, your question was also how that works,
yeah,
right?
that'd be like, yeah, how does, it's like, all right, we have to film this segment with a car, with a certain model of a car, like, for the people who are uninitiated, like what is the day from start to finish, like that is like, how long are you guys shooting for to get this, this video that's only a couple minutes long? You're spending all day at these places, right?
I mean, for the latest Kia video, we shot 2 days, like 2 nights. And yeah, I mean, you could also see it in the documentary where Vander talks about it, or Oscar, where he was like, we were climbing up this gasometer thing, which is like 70 meters high, and it took like 2 or 3 hours to shoot this, and it's like 5 seconds in the clip. So I mean, it hurts me too. Like, we put in all this work, right, and then you just get 5 seconds of the video. We're like, really? But I think that's the thing with filmmaking. I mean, it's a lot of work. Sometimes the best thing that comes out of it is not even like the video, but all the memories that you are able to make. So even like the gasometer thing, just going up there is something I don't think I would forget, because it was a bit scary.
Are you afraid of heights?
A little bit.
Who isn't, right?
But I mean, you got used to it really quickly on that thing, to be honest. But I mean, if you look downstairs, you can see everything, right? There's no like solid ground. And yeah, I mean, Oscar just walked alone in the dark on it, which is crazy to me. Like, I would have been a bit scared, but he just went for it. But yeah, I mean, these memories, like stuff, and I think that's why we also decided to do this documentary, right? And especially in the next episode, you will see like all this stuff or these memories that happens in between the shots. I think that's what makes it like really rewarding, because these are memories that you will not forget. Like, hey, remember back then when we did this video? Remember when we ate this crazy kebab or something like that? I mean, this is what makes it fun, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, on the video, obviously you try to be as fast as possible. There's always delays. On the other hand, you're trying to like weigh in all parties, right? Like, parties are saying like, okay, this can't be like this because of this and that. Then we have our brand, obviously. Then the players, maybe sometimes they feel like, I don't feel like I look good in this, or this doesn't fit my brand, I would say. But yeah, I mean, that video, but it's really easy with these guys, to be honest with you. Like, I don't have any complaints with them. Okay, maybe Casper sometimes, but
Shots fired.
He's still young. I mean, he's still young. I mean, when I was 18, I couldn't care less what adults told me,
Yeah,
so
it's natural.
I mean, he reminds me a lot of myself. So I think that's why we also understand each other pretty well. We always go for food together. So yeah.
Nice. It's clear that you have this special relationship with the players. You spend a lot of time with them from day to day, doing not just filming a documentary, going out for food. You'll be close to them when they're doing scrims and stuff like that, making sure they're getting from point A to point B and all that good stuff. I wanted to know, how has the team morale been? They're kicking ass this split. They're number 1 as of the filming of this video, and how is the general feel at the Rogue office in EU?
I mean, pretty good. I mean, obviously you see the score line or the record, which is 7-2.
Yeah, 7-2, tied for first.
7-2. Yeah, I mean, you see the record, right? But I feel like there's so much more behind it. this whole thing. So I need to repeat myself, but I think that's why we also do this documentary, because the atmosphere is really, really good. Like I said, I was in pretty much a lot of sports. So for me, this cultural thing or philosophy type of thing is really important, in my opinion. Like how the management, for example, here like acts and does stuff. So I mean, the players also see that we are working hard, right? They come in and check on us when they leave. You know, they're just like, "Hey, Tien, why do you work so hard?
Why haven't you
just chill for a bit?
Why haven't you eaten today?" Yeah, just before we filmed, you were it's like, "Oh yeah, before we film, I have to go eat today." Mind you, it's 6:25 here. It's midnight there, so you know, and you're not going to bed anytime soon, right? You look like you're still awake.
Nope. No, we're trying to do this, you know, like but I feel like that's I really like this job, because I feel like even though it's just marketing or it's just branding or stuff like that, I feel like I do have an impact on their performance. Because I'm trying to build a brand that they also can be proud of and are willing to give their all, like to the team, you know. And yeah, I think this is also the atmosphere here, right? Like we don't treat them like as superstars. We just treat them as human beings, you know. I talk to him, I do jokes to him, like I don't have to be afraid that he's like pissed. And I think this also gives me the freedom to do this kind of videos, you know. Like I can put some funny stuff of Casper in there, because he knows he trolls me a lot, so I can troll him back with that video.
Exactly.
But I think that's a real Casper that we see every day, and I thought actually I think that's the biggest driver why I did this documentary, because I saw all these interviews of Casper and like his social medias. Like I mean, it feels like it's just a normal kid that is like just trying to stay low, you know, and then just play. But I mean, this guy has so much joy for this game. It's crazy. Like he plays it 24/7. No matter what we do, he's like, "Can I just play?" And then and he trolls us 24/7. And that's what I wanted to show with this documentary.
Can't wait. If you guys don't already realize, the documentary is called Rogues, and it comes out every couple of weeks. This is going to be episode, what is it, 3 that's coming out. So if you haven't watched it, you can subscribe to the Rogue YouTube channel. Just search for it on YouTube and catch up, because it really gives a nice look behind the scenes as to what the org does, especially with the LEC boys. And it's really powerful stuff. Like, you know, and this is stuff that is you'll see with a lot of orgs. Like people don't have any idea what it takes to run a successful organization, and seeing all the people, you know, Tien included, that work hard to make sure, you know, I'm the new guy. Okay. And before I started this, I didn't really have any idea about what was involved with brand activations, with scrims, with making sure that players get to where they need to make sure that they do their best. You know, they're getting enough sleep, they're fed properly, they're getting enough time off from the game. You know, the managers and stuff are getting enough time off so they're not crazy, you know, making sure they get enough sleep. And there's a lot. And it's very easy for people like me to miss that. So, you know, thanks for making sure that you capture that, and I can't wait to see where the documentary goes.
I mean, if you think about it, like, of course we are successful now, you know, but I feel like we were building for this the last 1.5 years, not in just like the team management department, but also marketing, right? So I tried to build this team, this internal video team, because before we for example, work with agencies, but I felt like those agencies can never have this kind of connection than internal people.
You need people on the inside.
I mean, you see a lot of footage in the documentary where they just talk with the camera, you know? They would never do this with people who are not in the team. I think everything needs to come together, right? I mean, we could have the best marketing, the best content ever, but nobody would care if we would be like 0-16 team. On the other hand, if a team is successful and there's no marketing behind it, they will just be successful for I mean, Splice is a good example. I don't want to call them out, right? But I mean, they're a good example, right? They they did a lot of video, but it was just too little too late, I would say. But yeah, I mean, they made 2 Worlds runs, but on the branding side, they were like, oh, as a brand, they were so small. And yeah, I'm happy to see that they did a good job with the rebrand. And
yeah, you see how important it is, especially with you don't have to worry about getting relegated anymore. So now it's more important than ever to make sure that people know who you are. And I think that's part of the reason why I was such a big NA fan, was I didn't really care too much about the competition as much as finding emotional connections with the players. Like, I was a huge Dyrus fan when he was playing, and you saw the loyalty. You see the loyalty that it's like you really feel bad, like when they have a bad game or where they miss a world's performance, and even if they have a bad split or whatever, that fan loyalty is going to help sell merch. It's going to help keep faith in the team if they do bad, and it'll be even stronger when they do really well, and that's going to carry on for years and years and years. So to see that in such a young org, I see how people are on Twitter and what people are tweeting at us. It's great stuff. Like, the future is very bright for an organization this young, involved in League of Legends. Obviously, you see other orgs like G2 and Fnatic that have been here since like the beginning, but Rogue's doing pretty good, and they continue down this road. I feel like they'll be an org that everybody just has to make sure that they don't miss, that they have to take notice of. When interacting with other brands, you know how they have TSM and CLG rivalry like they had, many years ago. Do you feel like that any sort of rivalry exists between Rogue and any other LEC team, or is it all just friendly interaction?
I feel like the European teams are much more connected than maybe the LCS teams, because I think we're all on the same page in terms of what needs to be done on social media to be successful. Some teams do it more, like G2. Some teams might do it less. But yeah, I think a pretty good rivalry is going to be Mad Lions, because we're both up and coming teams, and it's kind of just a question of who's going to be the next team in Europe, because of course there's always G2 and Fnatic, and then Origin was supposed to be the one that can challenge them and like complete this top 3, but I feel like they fell a bit short. And yeah, because they don't have these like young exciting players, people might come to this conclusion, if it's not now, they will not get better. Which is kind of like a false narrative sometimes, I mean, look at Venner. I think he's getting better.
Absolutely.
With age. But yeah, I feel like Mad Lions is gonna be we're both at first place as well right now. But yeah, both of our teams are young, upcoming, and yeah, I feel like whoever beats out the other one is gonna be like the next prince, or the next king that you could crown.
Absolutely. And it's nice to see that these teams who were expected to do really well, like G2 and Fnatic, kind of stumble. It shows that anything can change at any time depending on who you play. And as we go up towards the end of the split, I think it's going to be very interesting to see who these top 3 teams are going to be. Rogue has a very good chance. Mad Lions really showing their stuff there, and I'm just excited for things to get back to normal. You guys.
I think G2 and Fnatic are just gonna come back.
You think they're just gonna come back with a vengeance? I feel like Fnatic is trolling with their last.
I feel like this is Fnatic every year. They look really bad at the beginning of a split, and then they somehow get into playoffs, and then they're in the finals. So yeah, I wouldn't count both of these teams out.
Okay. You guys have a bye week, for lack of a better phrase, this week. How are you and the team handling this free time, as I use air quotes here? What are you guys doing to stay focused?
So yeah, obviously I don't have free time.
Yeah, right. It doesn't exist. You don't get a break, Tien.
if I would have free time, I wouldn't do this podcast right now. No, but like the players, I mean, some of them took breaks. I mean, you see Steven went into streaming again.
Yeah. I didn't know he could draw.
I think he really enjoys it. You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that. I checked out his stream. I was like, what?
Okay. You're pretty new to the LEC.
Yeah, I am. Like, there's a lot I don't know, clearly.
I mean, this guy's brand was slaughtered for drawing. But yeah, he is a good artist, but he only drew because the server was down.
Oh.
Otherwise, we will have played League of Legends again. But yeah, I mean, he was streaming. Some other players just took days off, not playing at all. So yeah, I mean, they have three days off. Some players just come to the office and we play like games, like board games, like Catan, or cook some stuff together.
Nice.
Went out a lot to eat, even though I had to work. But they're like, come, just 1-2 hours, let's just eat something. I said, okay, let's go. I just stay longer.
That's fine.
But yeah, I mean tomorrow, so on Thursday. It's already Thursday.
Yeah.
But on Thursday, actually tomorrow we're gonna go do a team activity. I think we're gonna climb on trees.
Nice.
I'm not sure what it is, but let's see if that's gonna work out because it's supposed to rain. And then we're gonna have some kind of barbecue and just chill.
Nice.
But then, yeah, Friday they will start practicing like crazy again for the week after that because yeah, I think there's also a new patch. I'm not sure.
Yeah, there's they'll be playing on 10:15 comes out for regular people. Should have patched today.
I mean, you're the patch notes guy.
All right, so just so everybody, LEC plays one patch behind because nobody knows what's going to be broken or anything like that, but they will be playing. And there's some nerfs on some champions like Ezreal.
Look, you're already completely back into the patch notes.
Yeah, guys. So anybody doesn't know, we're bringing TLDR patch notes back eventually. It's going to happen.
Eventually,
yeah, as soon as we figure out what's going on. But
the big comeback.
Oh no, gosh. At least I don't have to worry about how many views it's going to get because it's like I'm employed to make these, so I'm very excited to.
It's gonna be
for peanuts.
Exploding.
Oh my gosh, yeah! Well, I got the music ready and everything. Like I have the assets. It's going to be wild. Before we go, I have been asking a lot of the staff this question. I'm going to pass it on to you. You have somebody come up, and I would say that you are a seasoned person in esports. I know esports is.
I'm old.
You're old? No, I don't think you're as old as me.
How old do you think I am?
So I think, all right, so based on when you said you got a new PC, we're probably actually the same age. I would say you're like,
really?
Yeah, I think we're the same age. I think that you're 30.
Nope.
No? Older or younger?
Older.
31?
Okay, yeah.
31. All right, see that's pretty good. Yeah. I got a second guess. Yeah.
Well, you should have seen Casper's face when I told him. He's like, what?
Yeah, he can't believe it.
But you're 24. And he's like, these damn Asians. No, I'm just kidding.
No, look, that's how it is. As long as people are mistaking you for a younger age, I think that's the biggest compliment. But just as you were talking, I thought that I was like, all right. He says he got his first PC at like 15, and based on that, all right.
That's our time. That's our times. Internet, 56K modem.
God, don't remind me.
So loud that you can't turn it on at night.
Somebody calls and they
good times.
Yeah, I don't miss those times at all. Dude, it took me so long to get like cable internet at home and something that wasn't dial up, so I could play like Unreal Tournament with my friends and not lag out. I'm glad we have fast internet now. I would never go back to those days. All right. Everything looks nice back then, but it wasn't. It was worse.
But now you want faster internet, you want lower ping.
Yeah.
It's just getting worse and worse. Yeah. The grass is always greener.
So, you have you're a seasoned esports professional. If you have somebody that's coming up to you and asking you, "Hey, Tien, I notice you're doing all this cool stuff. I want to get involved with esports. How do I put my best foot forward? How do I position myself for success? How do I get involved with esports?" What advice would you give somebody new or your younger self looking back at all this?
Get on Twitter. I mean, I think that's a good one of the biggest things you should do. Mm-hmm. Get on Twitter, make yourself a profile, and I mean, look into what would you enjoy, because at the end of the day, if you don't get into esports for money, right? Because
you love it.
There's also better industries.
Yeah,
to make money,
really.
It's just, I mean, it's demand, and the demand, I mean, for these kind of jobs is huge. So if you don't do it for a certain salary, which might be too low compared to other industries, somebody else is going to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, that was something that we always talked about back at Rocket. like, what are we doing here for this type of salary? You could make much more. But then like, okay, but this topic is also so interesting, and it doesn't feel like work. So yeah, but I think also there's no like correct way to get into esports. So I wouldn't say like, I mean, going to university and like learn about business administration, stuff like that, I think it's actually pretty good preparation also, because a lot of people in the space, they learn it by doing. But I feel like some of the analytical stuff, or like the way you think, because I feel like based on my studies, I didn't feel like I learned so much about like the theories and stuff like that, but just the way you think about stuff, like about topics. Like don't take the first answer for granted. Try to find some other answers and like compare them and find like a good solution. I think that these kind of things. Okay, I'm not sure how the university system is in the US, but here in Germany, where you can go to university for free.
Yeah, we don't have that. we're working on it. It's okay.
Yeah,
it sucks here.
But yeah, I think just I will probably go that way again. Obviously, if you have an opportunity at a big org to join earlier, do that. But I mean, also depends on what you like to do. You know, like if you like graphic design or video editing, you don't necessarily have to have this like education. Just need to grind it and be good at it. And yeah, I mean, that's it.
I feel like if you're dedicated enough, you'll find your way. Regardless, someone will take notice, and
yeah. But make a Twitter account so people can get noticed by you.
I think that's the most important thing. Tien, thank you very much for joining me on today's episode. I had a lot of fun learning about you, and I have to go watch those martial arts videos after I take a short nap.
I think they're all offline. You need to talk with Carl.
All right, no, we're gonna put you on display some way. It's gonna be good. I need to see these relics of the past. Guys, thank you for listening / watching. You can find Under the Hood on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Google Play, all that good stuff. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube for this and other episodes, including the Rogues documentary. Thanks for sharing your time with us. And
thanks for having me.
Tien, please get some sleep eventually. And
not yet. I think we need to finish it.
For everybody.
Because we need to climb in like 10 hours.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, look, I don't want any accidents happening because you didn't get enough sleep.
And we're going to film it, so accident, no.
All right. Well, look, it's more content for the documentary. All right. All right, everyone else, don't forget to go rogue. We'll see you next time, all right? Bye-bye.
Bye.